Judge, the state would call Pam Nelson to the stand.
All right.
Ma'am, can I get your name, please?
Kelsey Day. Thank you.
What was your name?
Pam?
Andrew?
Yes.
I'll just stand there.
Okay.
You can just stand there. Right here, too?
Did you prepare a statement? Yeah.
Ma'am, would you raise your right hand? Swear any testimony you give today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right, very good. Whenever you're ready, Counselor.
Ms. Nelson has prepared a statement for the court.
Sure.
You can go ahead and read it into the microphone.
Okay. My name is Pam, and I was a close friend of Karen. I am here today to speak about the impact her murder has had on my life and everyone who loved her. Karen was more than a friend to me, she was family. She was loyal, generous, and deeply committed to the people she loved. She believed in standing by family no matter what. That loyalty ultimately cost her her life. Karen worked hard for everything she had. She built a stable home, provided support even when it was not easy. She gave freely of her time, her resources, and her heart. She did not deserve betrayal. She did not deserve violence. She did not deserve to have her life taken by someone she should have been able to trust. Her death was not just a loss, it was a shock that shattered the sense of safety and trust. We lost her laughter, her guidance, her presence at holidays and ordinary days alike. The grief does not lessen with time, it changes us permanently. What makes this especially difficult is knowing this was a deliberate act. Karen's life was taken intentionally. That reality weighs heavily on all of us who loved her. Your Honor, sentencing is about accountability. It's about recognizing the value of the life that was taken. Karen mattered. Her life had meaning. The magnitude of this loss deserves a sentence that reflects the seriousness of this crime. I respectfully ask the court to impose a sentence that honors Karen's life, acknowledges the harm caused, and ensures the safety of others. This is not the defendant's first threat of violence. Nothing can bring Karen back, but justice is the only measure of peace we can hope for now. Thank you for allowing me to speak.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. State.
State your name.
Swear for me testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Go ahead.
You can state your name for the record.
My name is Jan. I was a close friend of Karen Baez. First of all, I'd like to relay a message from a first cousin of Karen's who has contacted us several times during the trial. And she asked that we expressed the remaining family's wishes that Debra Patton receive life without parole if that is an option for her. But, Your Honor, what I would like to share is something that has been eating at me since Karen was murdered. As testimony, it is only inadmissible hearsay. But it is all I can hear Karen say in my head, and it's gut-wrenching. For months before her death, Karen repeatedly stated, "If something happens to me, tell them it was my sister. She is going to kill me." Over and over we heard such statements. I found it difficult to believe that such a thing could happen. We made suggestions. We said, move her out, find her another place, even if you have to pay for it. Move yourself out, get out. Make sure her gun is not loaded. None of that happened. What else could we have done as friends to save our friend's life? So in my mind, as I still hear those chilling words, Debra Patton is guilty not of second but of first-degree murder, as she let her victim know she planned to kill her. Though your judgment today is not her final judgment, which will be harsh, as I do not believe she is capable of heartfelt repentance, I respectfully request that you deliver to Debra Patton the harshest sentence the law allows. Thank you for hearing me.
You swear firm any testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. State your name for the record.
Kathy Wynkoop, Wynkoop. Good morning. I knew Karen my entire life. She worked with my father, and to be honest, she was like an aunt to me. I also knew Debra, unfortunately. And at the beginning, she was a nice person, somewhat narcissist, but decent. And then her and Karen had a falling out, and she just decided she didn't want to speak to any of us ever again. And unfortunately, like everyone else has said, Karen said to us many, many times, if something happens to me, my sister did it. And I just can't believe after everything that Karen did for her, she gave her a place to live. She remodeled the kitchen to give her a gourmet kitchen. She paid for everything. Debra paid for nothing, and she gets repaid with a bullet. I respectfully ask that you give her life without any hope of parole. I want her to die in prison. I want her to be miserable. She's made the rest of us miserable. She deserves no mercy. If she had a chance, she would probably fulfill other threats that she's made to other family members. So I do respectfully ask that you give her life in prison. I want her to die in prison, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Do you swear affirm any testimony you give today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Can you just state your name for the record?
Joel Wynkoop.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I just wanted to say, too, that I've known Karen for a long time, over 20 years. When I came into the family with Kathy, that I met Karen and welcomed me into her home. And she was just the best, the nicest. And Sophie, of course, before she passed away, her mom. And just a great family to know them. And then when Debra came into the picture, Karen let her come into her home and live there for free, and everything was great for a while. It was nice. We'd come over, we get to see Debra, we get to see Karen, you know, have a nice family thing, and then something changed. We would go over there, and then Debra wouldn't talk to any of us. She wouldn't talk to Kathy's dad. She wouldn't talk to me. She would just walk around with a kind of a dumb smile like that when we would say hello, trying to be nice, trying to be conversational. And then from Karen would tell us the things that were going on in the house. Debra didn't spend any money. Karen paid for everything. Things got so bad that we told Karen, Kathy's dad and I would tell Karen when she was leaving, because Karen would always say to us, her parting words to us were, Jim, if you find my body, my sister did it. Every single time she left Mom and Dad's house, it was always the same thing. Jim, if you find my body, my sister did it. And I told her, and Dad told her. We both said, Karen, she's got to go. You've got to tell her to leave. Whatever you have to do, she has to leave. I'll help you. Dad will help you. We'll both help you. If we got to get a lawyer, whatever it is, to have her put out of your house legally, we will do that. Karen's answer was, no. No. She's my sister. I love her. She has nobody else. She has no family. I have to take care of her. And that's what she would always tell us every time. And it just killed us the day we got the call. My Aunt Mickey, Kathy's aunt, said, go over and see if Karen's okay. And as soon as we round the corner, the place is surrounded by sheriffs. And I told my wife, she did it. She killed her. And we haven't inherited Mom and Dad's house, so we go by there every day. And we drive by Karen's house every single night when I go to check the mail. And I always say, Karen, we love you and we miss you. And we want justice for you. We know you love your sister, but she needs to pay for what she did. And I ask you for just the maximum, everything you can give, because she needs to pay for this. She needs to pay for what she did. And I thank the court and everybody here, and thank you, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
But that's it, Judge. So, Judge, as you can obviously tell, the state is seeking life in Florida State Prison. She scores a minimum of 246 months. This case is as close to a first-degree murder case as I've ever tried a second-degree murder case. We believe we have or had the motive, the forethought to kill, because she had expressed it, but we were unable to find a way to get that evidence admitted, obviously. But it was very clear from the victim in this case that she was scared. She was concerned that this woman was going to do exactly what this woman did to her, which was to kill her. And so, Judge, we believe, while it's not charged as a first-degree murder, this case shows ample premeditation, and we would be requesting, Your Honor, that she get the maximum sentence under the law on this charge, which would be life in Florida State Prison. Thank you.
Defense?
Judge, I didn't want to interrupt Mr. Terry, but I would absolutely object to the court considering anything about what they think they could have charged, what they wanted to charge. What this court should consider is the evidence that was presented during the trial, the jury's verdict, which is guilty of second-degree murder, and anything that the court has heard or listened to from the PSI, and anything that the court deems to be relevant from regarding victim impact statements here today. But we would certainly object to the court considering anything such as this should have been premeditation if only we could have found a way to get the evidence in. That would not be appropriate for this court to consider. Can I have just a moment to consult with my client?
You may.
Ms. Patton would like to make a statement to the court, Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, thank you. I do stand here blameless for this. I do intend to appeal the verdict. I do also forgive everything that I just heard in here that was a lie. Heavenly Father, I know that you are in sovereign control over this situation. And even though I understand that the verdict is in and that you are going to pronounce sentence, I am going to continue to fight this. That's all I have to say.
Anything else?
Judge, I just ask that you consider, as I stated earlier, the facts that the evidence that were introduced in the trial. Also consider the PSI that was provided to the court. The only correction that I do have to the PSI is with regard to credit for time served. They only calculated the time after Ms. Patton was returned from the Florida State Hospital.
Didn't they recommend life in prison?
I'm sorry?
The PSI, wasn't it life in prison, was their recommendation?
That was, Judge.
Yes. The credit for time served is 1,723 days. Ms. Patton is 72 years old. We're asking that the court sentence her to the 25-year minimum sentence, as this court is required to do, and also take into consideration the fact that she did spend 2 years at the Florida State Hospital as a result of mental illness. And I think that that sort of coincides with the evidence that the court heard during the trial, which was that Ms. Patton, for a period of time, was sociable. She was pleasant. She was perfectly fine. And then there comes a point in time where her demeanor changes, her life changes, and that is when things start to change in the relationship between her and her sister. So I think that that coincides with what the reports are that sent Ms. Patton to the hospital back in 2022.
That's it?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
Well, I remember this evidence. I remember this case when it first came in. The cold, calculated way that you perpetrated this crime. You say you stand there blameless?
I do.
Nobody else agrees with you. And I certainly don't. The jury certainly don't. And you'll be judged someday. If you're a God-fearing person, then you should fear God at this time. Because your crime is irreprehensible. The evil that walks among us is envisioned by what you did. When I watched the video and saw you just calmly take the shovel and walk back into the house to bury your sister's body, it's unfathomable.
Should have watched the whole video.
This is not your time to speak, it's your time to listen. And I think you may think it's a joke. Well, enjoy yourself for the rest of your life, because I'm going to mandate you to go to prison for the rest of your life. 25 years, that hasn't been mandatory. Credit for all time, credit is due. But you'll spend the rest of your life in prison. Adjudicated guilty if I haven't already done so. That's all I got to say.
Thank you, Your Honor.